Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight, I have something extra, extra special for you. Tonight, our guest is Maria Elena Grijalva, the 2023 NKF winner of the Celeste Castillo Lee Patient Engagement Award, Native American Agricultural and Underserved High Risk Population Kidney Advocate, and 36-year kidney transplant recipient from a donation from her brother John. She has been advocating for people who are at risk of kidney disease and had little assistance for over 36 years. She has been the leader of a patient run Valley Renal Support Group for over 30 years, a staunch supporter for all affected by kidney disease. Through the group, she has been coordinating meetings and speakers and serving 4 countywide communities every month. She has been previously chosen as KSEE 24's Woman of the Year and the Tulare City Council First Council District International Woman of the Year in 2020. On April 13th of this year in Austin, Texas, at the NKF Spring Clinical Meetings, Maria was awarded the 2023 Celeste Castillo Lee Award for Patient-Centered Care and Empowerment for her work to educate underserved patients in high risk of kidney disease communities. NKF President Sylvia Rosas says of Maria, quote, I first met Maria at the 2020 congressional briefing and was impressed by her dedication to raise awareness of kidney disease in her community, particularly in individuals of Native American and Hispanic backgrounds. She gives so much to others with kidney disease. She is a dedicated volunteer, and volunteers like Maria and their relentless work to improve the lives of people facing kidney disease that provide us the inspiration to continue to do our work. Maria sums up her experience like this, quote, it is an incredible gift to receive a transplant and has given me the power to educate others about prevention, understanding their kidney disease, and to advocate for themselves with their healthcare team. The National Kidney Foundation has always supported me and encouraged me to engage in ways I never dreamed of. This award means the NKF has recognized my commitment in educating those high risk populations about kidney disease. I couldn't be more proud. Unquote. Please give a warm welcome to kidney advocate superstar Maria Elena Grijalva. I hope I got that right. Any rate, how are you tonight, Maria?
Hello, you did just fine. Yes, I'm very happy to be here.
Okay. Just so people know, in the comments to the original broadcast that's pinned to the top of my Facebook page, if you want more information about Maria, there are links, there's YouTube videos, all sorts of things. I just want to say hello and give a shout out to a few audience members. My friend Elizabeth Odom is on. Donna Tissot is on. So hello to our friends and welcome to the broadcast.
Welcome.
Did I state everything correctly in the introduction?
Oh yes, yes. It sounds like you're talking about somebody else, but yes, I've done all of that. And relentless is the word that I like that you chose. I move forward very strongly in reaching my area, and like you said, through the agriculture, farm worker. Again, they're busy working, and most of them don't have the time to go and take care of themselves until they really really are very sick and they end up in emergencies. And again, with the Native American population, high diabetes rate. Um, I made some very very close friends, and I love working and educating. Uh, and in fact, COVID, when it came in, it really was 3 years of no work, and I didn't know what to do with myself, and I think everybody else felt the same way. And we eventually started the support group on Zoom link, and it still left out my local people, and ended up getting people from other locations instead. But I really would like to return to the physical in person, and maybe just go ahead and include and keep the Zoom and see how that goes. I
Right.
love. Hmm.
Please tell us a little bit about where you grew up, your education, and your employment experience.
Well, I was born, raised, grew up, and have not left Tulare, California. And again, I'm comfortable here. I love it here. It's a small town. Yes, I've needed to go to Los Angeles for my transplant, and it was a little anxiety on the freeways with all the traffic. But we have to go where we have to go, which is our doctors and our hospitals. Um, Again, because I grew up on a ranch, I had open fields. The open fields where me and my brother would run and jump and play, and got dirt in our faces. And anyway, went to a rural school, ended up moving into town, thinking that the big city of Tulare was what I was missing out on things. You know what? The houses are too close. The neighbors are too close. I miss the wide open spaces of the fields and the farms and the ranches. I've Like I said, I've grown up. My school was in a rural, um, small school. Finished my high school years, of course, in town. Continued my education. I became a sign language interpreter for special education at the local high schools. And I'm very proud of myself because, again, they were not just the deaf students, but severe hard of hearing. And one of them was a Spanish speaker. He was just learning some English, but he was very severely deaf. So when there was a presentation in the classroom, I was signing, and using my Spanish voice to let the young man know. And the person that was there actually noticed me, which for me it was natural. My language comes out. I'm talking. I'm using my sign language, and she says, "Maria, are you doing what I think you're doing? Are you simultaneous?" I go, yes, I am. And I didn't notice until, she pointed it out that it was natural for me. I had those skills that I was able to talk several languages at the same time. And anyway, but yes, I've learned several languages. I've lost my Portuguese. I had Portuguese families, but I've lost my Portuguese. But I'm very proud of knowing languages. I want to get back into learning my native tongue. That my dad was just Pima. Um, he's from Arizona, and again, we never learned. It's too bad. We only know about maybe two lines, my brother and I, and that's about it. But I want to get back to learning more languages.
All right. What is your marital status? Do you have children?
I was married to my husband Gilbert. He was a United States Marine. We had a boy and a girl, and now my daughter has two girls. So I have two granddaughters. They're young adults, and my husband passed away of cancer. It's been a year and a few months, so I did have to leave the support group. to other people because at the time I just could not. I was grieving, but slowly again, like you can see, I've returned back um, to make sure that the work was being taken care of, that the patients were being taken care of, and I'm still getting phone calls. My house phone is the so-called office phone, so people are still needing help, and I would forward it to the other friends to say, "Hey, you need to call back this gentleman, call back this lady. They need help. They're starting dialysis." But yes, I feel very comfortable uh, working and educating about kidney disease.
Okay. Talk to us a little bit about when you first began to experience kidney disease. When did you first begin to have symptoms?
Like I said, I was working for special ed high school. I love those students. I was getting headaches, very bad headaches, and I thought they were migraines. And I was kind of blaming the kids, the students, because again, my deaf students were in the regular classrooms, but no, it wasn't a migraine. It was high blood pressure, which I did not know that I had. Um, so again, there were some things that I was kind of repulsed eating. I said, "Man, am I turning into a vegetarian?" Because I did not want to be touching any kind of meat. I just did not. But you know what? That was later on. I found out that was the body's reaction to say you cannot eat meat because you're sick. And but no, no. Through the long process of diagnosing kidney disease, finally they say, "Maria, your kidneys are failing or have failed." And so that was brand new. 30 some years ago, you did not hear about kidney failure. You've heard about cancer, heart disease, lung disease, but yeah, kidney failure, what's that?
Right. Right. Tell us a little bit, approximately when were you first diagnosed and what brand or type of kidney disease were you diagnosed with?
I was diagnosed with glomerular nephritis, which
Okay.
again, long time to say that word correctly. Uh, Again, my doctor, my family doctor, I mean, he knew all my family. And again, of course, that had to be the exception to I can't figure out what you have. Send me to specialist. And anyway, they diagnosed me with that. I'm not diabetic. Of course, I had the high blood pressure. I was told that I needed a transplant, and I'm going, what? Transplant? I've heard of transplants, but me needing one, uh, I needed to be put on hemodialysis, which I did, a total of 100 sessions, and the 100th session was done at the Los Angeles hospital the day before my transplant. And but anyway, yes, it's something that I cried on my first day, watching all the people. And back then it was very tiny room, and people were very, very close. And most of them were elderly. And maybe there was one other young girl there. And I'm going, oh my gosh, is this my fate? Am I going to grow old on this machine? And I was just in my 30s. So that was a big shock.
Okay. Did you have any complications while you were on dialysis?
The only complications I had were severe cramping, foot cramps, but then all of a sudden, uh, almost toward the end of before going to diet to transplant, I started getting stomach cramps where abdomen muscles were actually popping up, and that was excruciating pain. Excruciating pain. I'm like, what is going on? Some people I found out do get, the abdominal cramps, which they say are worse than the leg cramps. But yeah, cramping is not a fun thing.
Okay. The dialysis center that you were doing in-center hemodialysis, was that the Kayworth Health Dialysis Center?
Yes, it's a native word, Kauai Health. Again, that was downtown. Only one dialysis center for all of this area, the various cities. Um, and it's sad to say that after my transplant, I discovered that, hey, they made another one. And they kept making another one. As the years went by, this area was outgrowing their dialysis centers. So,
Wow.
mhm.
I, how long were you on in-center hemodialysis?
Monday, Wednesday, Fridays for 4 hours.
Okay, at a visit.
At 4 hours each of those days. Uh-huh.
Were, were you, between the time that you were on dialysis and you were transplanted, was that approximately a year or was it more than a year?
It was a shy of a few months, less than a year. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
When were you first listed as a candidate for kidney transplant?
You know, I was never listed. I was never listed because they were telling me that, well, my nephrologist at the very beginning had said the best thing is you have kidney failure, transplant, and again, the best thing is to get a family member is the best, and talk to your family. Well, meanwhile, I'm getting on dialysis because I needed to, getting prepped and all that, and finally I had a chance where, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to mention this to my family? I'm the oldest in my family. Then a year down is my brother, my only brother. 10 years down the road is my sister. But my sister had just had a baby boy. So I said, nope, she's just delivered a baby boy. Can't. She offered, but my dad wanted to do it, but I said no. They tested him anyway, but I did approach them. That I was at my mom's house, and I said, I just started. The doctor said that the best chance for me to get off dialysis is if someone would donate a kidney for me. That my outcome would in life would be a lot better. It would get me off the machine, and the best thing would be maybe a family member. And my brother right away said, "I'll do it." And I'm like, did he hear me right? And I think John's not on. John was supposed to join in today, but he's at a camp with a class of students, but he might be joining in later. But anyway, he said it so matter of factly, I'll do it. And sure enough, he was the match. He was the he was the match.
Okay.
And
That's John Aurelio
Areola.
Areola. Boy,
Mhm.
yeah, get something right tonight, will you? Um,
It's California. We have all kinds of fun names.
um, okay, because I know the average wait time in California is astronomical. 10,
Mm.
12 years approximately normal for
Again,
a cadaver kidney.
in my time at the 30 some years back, of course there wasn't this many. It was one dialysis unit, and the wait time was like maybe 5 years. Now, because I said we've outgrown and we see dialysis across from each other, it's become a business. They're everywhere, like 7-Elevens, and that shows that more people are in need And so, of course, the wait time is about that long, too long.
Right. Right. What transplant center were you transplanted at?
It was in Los Angeles at the time. Everyone went to from this area went to St. Vincent's Medical Center, and the transplant doctor, Dr. Mendez. There were two twin brothers, Dr. Mendez, Robert and Raphael. They were across the street, and of course they're retired now. But um, yeah, it was an experience. My brother and I, we still go. He'll get a little wild idea. He goes, "Let's go visit St. Vincent's." I mean, it's closed now. It was closed due to bankruptcy, which is sad. Uh, Someone told me that because it's in Los Angeles, they've used it as in a movie. I go, "Well, it did? No, I'm going to be looking for for my hospital. They've used it in a movie. Okay, I can recognize it." But yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about the testing that you and your brother went through in Los Angeles. What was that like?
Well, we did not have to go to Los Angeles then. Um, Everything was done, the blood work was done in the dialysis center. Uh, they would send all the kits and whatever. And of course, they test my brother. They already knew my information. So everything was done here for my brother. And again, eventually, yes, we had to go to Los Angeles, which is what, 3 hours. Um, in Los Angeles traffic, it seems like it's longer. But yes, we had to go. We had to do what we had to do.
Okay. Yesterday, when we were talking, you mentioned something to me about the difficulties of the roadway
Oh yeah.
that you would take to actually get a transplant. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, there's the mountain south of where I am. Going to Los Angeles is called the Grapevine. So you have to climb up those mountains and wind yourself to Los Angeles area. The Grapevine is very, it makes national news. It's very popular when in the wintertime it shuts down because of snow. It shuts down because of rain and mudslides. Um, so when it shuts down, that means if anyone's going to go get a transplant, you got to wait. Surgery has to wait. And it could be hours, it could be a day, it could be several days. So that's the difficulty of traveling to Los Angeles from our area. Now the patients go to UCSF in San Francisco, and you don't have to worry about mountains or anything. It's a pretty it's about maybe 4 hour drive that way. But again, if you're able to make it down south, up north, or even to the next state, Nevada, you know, you just got to make sure you get there.
Okay. Um, Tell us a little bit about the day of transplant. I have it as April 15th,
April 15th, which
1987.
87
Okay. I think,
sounds
nope, I
like
didn't get that one right either. I'm 0 for 3 tonight.
no, you
Um,
better. No, we went in on a Monday, May 13th. We checked in. And I think I sent you a picture of me and John standing in front of the hospital. So we're standing there. It's check-in time, May 13th. And Tuesday, the 14th, of course, you're in there and they're doing all the blood work, checking everything out. I think we did another x-ray, whatever. And then, uh, so Wednesday, the 15th, we did the surgery. Uh, 13 has been my lucky number. And I always think of my grandmother, my mother's mother. Her birthday was May 13th. All my surgeries, and I mean all surgeries of different kinds, have been on the 13th. So I consider it a very lucky number. I'm still.
Okay. Were there any issues or complications during your transplant? Were there any problems?
No, no. I'm looking back. I'm still seeing myself in the room right now. Um, my brother, again, back then, there was no laparoscopic surgeries. It was the full slice down, cutting him basically in half to get the kidney from his back. Um, Again, it's painful. Any surgery is painful, but for my brother, I can't imagine his pain because, again, his scar shows what he went through. And he did it for me. He did it for me.
Okay.
Now, nowadays, I tell people you're very lucky. We have better medicines, better dialysis machines. You go in laparoscopic, you come out almost the same the next day, if not the day after, and you're walking around.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you have any issues or complications after your transplant? Were there any problems then?
You know, if there were no problems. Again, we had a drive in two cars. My husband went to pick me up, and it was me and my mom. My mom was helping me. We had to come down that grapevine, and my dad drove the other car with my brother. And we had fun because, again, my brother also knows sign language, and we didn't have cell phones back then to call each other. So we'd pull up and we start talking. We're going to stop on the next, you know, for the restroom break. We're going to go and get something to eat. So we'd be, doing sign language back and forth to each other to communicate. And but no, the funny thing was that my poor dad, he's getting on the freeway, and here's my brother, with this big old scar, pillows everywhere, seatbelt on. And my dad's asking my brother, "Hey, can you turn around and see if the traffic's clear?" My brother's like this, all stiff. "Dad, uh, I can't do that right now." He was in so much pain. He's asking me to turn around and see if the traffic's clear. Sorry, Dad, you're on your own. Uh,
I thought I read somewhere, Maria, that you had some difficulty with the anti-rejection medications, side effects.
at the
Did I
very
misunderstand?
at the very beginning, yes. Again, here it is. I knew nothing about dialysis. I knew nothing about transplant, and doctors are telling you these things. But I had no one. I knew nobody that had a transplant dialysis. I had no peer to share. Hey, am I supposed to feel this? Luckily, there was people at the dialysis center that said, "I'm going to tell again, you become a family." And they shared certain things. At this time, this is going to happen. At this time, this is going to happen. Okay, thank you. And when it did happen, uh right away I said, "Thank you for telling me, because this is a freaky feeling. This is whatever." Now, give it a couple of years. I mean, we're measuring up and down our medications, of course, going less and less, but I was having like some hallucinations, and that was scary. I was having, again, because of the prednisone, the steroid, I kept having uh, crying spells. I was crying, crying. They said, "You're depressed." I go, "What's depression?" I'm happy, everything's fine, but again, it was a form of depression. I just was crying for nothing. Driving behind the car and I'm crying, washing the dishes and I'm crying. So luckily, I found a support group, and I found out, yeah, other people had other things, and some of them were kind of similar to mine. So that made me feel a whole lot better that I was not going crazy.
Okay. I understand that your kidney transplant is still viable, it's still working, and has lasted over 36 years. Do I have that right?
April 15th was our 36th year anniversary, so now we're in May, and we're, thank goodness. And again, people have asked me, Maria, other transplant, because in the support group we've had transplant, and I've had two that have four transplants already. And they ask me, what do you do, or what are you doing to make it last so long? And I'm going, I'm doing what they told me to do. Take my medications on time. Don't skip. Get checked. Blood work. I have done my blood work since day one, all these years, every single month. Some people don't want to get poked with a needle. Hey, those lab needles are nothing compared to the dialysis needles. So you can take the blood, make sure everything's working fine. And I owe this to my brother because I'm not going to be skipping lab tests and waiting, a couple of months to find out, you know what, Maria? There's something that we found, and you know what is too bad and is too late. We should have caught it sooner, but because we caught it now, it's too late. I don't want to hear that. I want to catch it on time. It's in my power to do it every single time. Just recently, within this past year, because things are stable and my doctor has already said, can we try doing it at least every 2 months? Okay, we'll go every 2 months. So, again, that is how I keep myself and this kidney going, keep on top of things. I owe it to my brother. I owe it to him. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I always ask before I take any over the counter medication, can I take this? Can I take that? Or any prescription medication from another doctor, because we got to go see other doctors for our basic, healthcare, um, dentist, and everything else in between. They'll give you the
Okay,
prescription or whatever, but I have to ask them, is this safe for me to take? Oh, no, no. Let's give you something else that'll work just the same, but it'll be safer for the kidney.
excellent, excellent. Want to give a shout out to a couple of friends of the show. Steve Belcher's on and listening to us. Hi, Steve. And my good friend Bobby Reed, a fellow CAC member, Maria is on.
Oh,
She's the one that uh, won the recent award at the NKF Summit. So
yeah.
I got nothing but award winners on my show tonight. So um, one of the things that I have read is that you said that your transplant has, quote, given you the power to educate others about prevention, understanding kidney disease, and to advocate for themselves with their healthcare team. Please talk to us about how you first began your kidney advocacy.
Again, because someone took the time during dialysis to share their experiences about transplant surgery. And I remember them. During the support group that I got myself involved with, I ended up knowing people there. And I felt happy yet sad. It's like, oh no, you got kidney disease too? Oh, well, anyway, uh, by talking and sharing with other people, and also make sure that what you are hearing are the facts. Don't just assume because it worked for them, it's going to work for you. You have to do it yourself. We're all in this kidney disease and on dialysis, but our bodies, we are different still. We are different. We're not, exactly the same. Like I said, I don't have diabetes. I had high blood pressure. Somebody has something else, etc. Uh, find out exactly what you need. Don't just sit back and expect the doctor to tell you everything that you need to do. No. Can I change that and do something else? Can I skip this? Again, I've never skipped my dialysis. No. Even though I felt crappy and I didn't want to go, my children were still babies, elementary school. I went. I went. And you know what? I was glad that I went because after that, I was feeling fantastic. I got my energy back. So I hear people skipping their dialysis, and I'm like, and they're wondering why they are. I'm so sick. I'm so sick. No,
Got
I've,
to
I'm
get those toxins out of your body.
I'm never the type, never, to tell any of my peers, I told you so. No, no, because you know why? We learn it on our own. Yeah, I wasn't a perfect patient. I cheated on certain food, and you know what? Who paid for it? Me. I got sick. I'm not going to do that again. A person in the support group. You know what, Maria? They gave me these medicines, and you know what? I'm not going to take them. Didn't say anything. Well, we'll see. We'll see. You take care of yourself now. You take care of yourself. Couple of meetings down the road. You know what, Maria? I started taking those medications. Meanwhile, I'm happy inside. I go, good. How are you feeling? I'm feeling a lot better. We're the ones that are going to find out. Advocating too is please keep asking questions until you're satisfied. Medical terms. If they're talking to you in medical terms, I had a nurse. She was my school nurse of all things. They were talking, presenting. We had some speakers for the support group. And the nurse tells me, I have no idea what they're saying. And it was medical terms. Are going, if she doesn't understand it, no. Raise her head. Could you please explain that a little bit more? Because we're not understanding what you're saying. Yes.
Okay, good, good. Um, I understand from talking to you yesterday that you had heart surgery. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, yes. It just kept on coming. Of course, we checked everything and um, uh, checked the heart. Well, they discovered, guess what? You have a hole in your heart. Oh, well, is that going to postpone the transplant? Am I ever going to get a transplant? Oh, Maria, this is a birth defect. You've had this for since you were born. It's just a small hole in your heart. Plus, I was a preemie baby. And my mom says, well, you weren't completely, you know, you didn't grow completely anyway. Um, so we went ahead and did the transplant because they said the hole wasn't in a dangerous part, life threatening. Well, of course, I've had it 30 some odd years. Nothing, I didn't feel anything any different. Um, because I thought everybody else felt the same way. Now, that came the year after transplant, went back to my same transplant hospital, St. Vincent's. Um, they did the surgery. I was more terrified of that surgery than the transplant, but I'm fine now.
Great,
Fine now.
great. Let's talk a little bit about your advocacy work. Um, Talk to us about your experiences with the National Kidney Foundation. How did you get involved with them, and what kind of support have they given to you?
Well, again, going back to the support group, we were all run by. It took the social worker at the dialysis center, which was not my social worker. He was the one that was coordinating the support group, and when I joined the support group, I became more involved, and so we started making like a little core group of the people that were more involved. Uh, and then he asked me if I could help him make phone calls, you know, because he's working, and so that made me a little bit more into calling patients, how are they doing, taking down notes for them, what do they need, and then I would hand that, to the social worker. Try to find and contact speakers for the support group, etc. So I was kind of like in a training session, and I enjoyed that. I love to do that. Well, he retired, and he had warned me one of these days, this group is going to be yours. Well, the day came. uh, I still continued on with what I knew. Contacted people. I had even transplant surgeons come down from Los Angeles and San Francisco, come to do a big gathering there at the hospital. And of course, now they don't do that. They're too busy. They send some other representative, but it's not quite the same. The advocacy is that, again, years had passed. Years had passed, and I kept waiting in line. I could hear people talking now. So and so's going to be getting a transplant. Oh, I have to go and pick up so and so at the dialysis center. Someone's on diet. So now that dialogue is out there. You're hearing it in the grocery lines. Dialysis, transplant, this. More and more people are talking. Maria, something's going on with my kidneys, especially my neighbors here, friends, family. They'd come to my door. What do I need to do? So again, things that I knew, I would share with them. So that's how it started, little bit by little bit.
Okay. I understand that you have been with Valley Renal Support Group for around 30 years. Is that correct?
Half my life, half my life. I've kept, again, I did not know. That's the other thing. When I was on dialysis, I did not know that group existed. No one told me about it. Nobody. Uh, they So it was happening. It was happening. And the only way that I found out about it, like I said, voila, there it was behind the hospital newsletter. There's a kidney support group. So anyway, again, someone helped me, and I was there to help other people. So when the social worker retired, that just left the group, which again were my friends. We continued on. And, the fact is that, people die. People die. Dialysis, or even with transplants. I've had some very, very great, funny characters, and I miss them. But we succumb to our heart. They had heart attacks. Uh, in a way, I'm thinking, well, was this planned out too? That I got my heart fixed first? I mean, afterwards? I don't know. I don't know. But because of the damage for, through dialysis, those are the things that that are, we talk about everything. Nobody did mention to me anything about afterwards, after the transplant. Get a transplant. Hey, I'm on my way. Nobody mentioned about what we hear now, skin cancer. Nobody mentioned about the immunosuppressants and skin cancer. Nobody mentioned about, I never heard the term sleeping kidney. What's that? You know, Nobody mentioned that to me. If I would have had a sleeping kidney, I would have learned it probably in the hospital. But all these years, I've learned from all the patients that have come to the support group. And that's what makes the support group stronger, is that we're sharing this information. Mhm.
Okay. Talk to us about your work with Native American people, the agricultural folk, the underserved high risk kidney patients.
Yeah,
What has that part of your advocacy been like?
that started like, oh, way, way, way into my, again, I was several years into the support group. And again, people finding out, and I would be the type that I would invite myself to health fairs. You know what? That'd be a good place to advocate. And that's when I started contacting National Kidney Foundation. Is there a way that you could send me some, pamphlets, flyers, blah, blah, blah? Oh, sure. How many would you need? One? Can you send me like 10? Because I want to do this. Oh, okay. We'll send you more because, again, they knew that I was going to be out there, having a little table. And I mean a little table in those days. So that's how I started with my little, I was going to say TV tray, but it was bigger than that. Um, and, uh, and it caught the attention of the people there at the fairs. Kidney disease. Wow, there's something going on with my diabetes and kidney disease. Oh, I have diabetes. I didn't know. High blood pressure. And that's where it began. That's where it began. So word got out that this is what I was doing. Somebody knows something, and of course, um, up in my area, we have to go up into the mountains to the reservation. High diabetes in the community. Uh, like also agriculture workers. I was an agriculture worker. Um, when you don't speak the language, like I said, people that don't go because, again, don't have insurance, are sick, pesticides maybe have gotten, all kinds of stuff, injuries on their job. Um, they also have diabetes, high blood pressure. Okay, they find out just like I did. Your kidneys have failed. What do you mean? Speaking their language, knowing that I am so called one of them, someone that they can trust. Uh, I'm not a white coat. They will listen. They will listen because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical. I am a person that has gone through this. So they trust me. Um, Again, not everybody wants to hear it. Not anybody wants to follow the doctor's advice. Oh, I can't do without salt. I'm just going to have salt. In my mind, I'm going, well, that's their choice. And I'm going to mention at this time that I had a young uncle that was diabetic. That was my mom's brother. He ended up being a bad diabetic. He was the baby of the family. He's just was just a few years younger than me. But he did what he wanted to do. Amputations were costing him this, was costing him. He got sick. He ended up on dialysis. All kinds of bad things. But he still was having his sodas. He was still having his cakes. He is a diabetic, but he chose. His other brothers and sisters were scolding him. Don't be eating that. Don't be eating that. I didn't say anything. I was scared for him. He passed away. I told my other uncle, the older brother, I said, you know what he has taught me? We choose how we want to live. I chose because I had young children. I was going to do every single thing that the doctor told me. Don't eat this, don't do that. I was strict with myself. Others say, you know what? Nah, I'm going to do what I want to do and live, even if it's going to cut my life short. Those are our choices. That is what my uncle taught me. He lived the way he wanted to live as a diabetic, no matter, but he succumbed to that disease. But I think, you know what, that he was happy. He was happy. And so now I say there is no wrong way to live life, but we choose how we do it.
True, true. Let's talk a little bit about some of your awards and recognitions that you have received for your kidney advocacy. Um, Tell us a little bit about your 2022 KSEE Woman of the Year award. What was
Oh,
that all about?
eh, um, this is in the big city of Fresno, and it came on the TV news so-called commercial, and my mom saw it that for someone to nominate a woman, a female who has done, work for the community. My mom told my brother, and so basically it was my mother that nominated me for that. And that was very special because, again, uh, it's not about me like this. It's not about my face. It's not me. The face is that remember me because I am going to educate you about kidney disease. I am the kidney disease connection that you might want to hear, you might need. So that is how I see, if I'm in the TV, if I'm in a newspaper article, whatever, it is because I'm bringing attention to the disease. Hmm.
Okay. You sent me several pictures of the award that you received, the Tulare City Council First Council District International Woman of the Year Award. Can you talk about that a little bit?
City council, I mean, I love my city council. I love the small town here. I know all of them. I've known the past previous ones. So we went to school together and whatever. So I'm very comfortable in front of city council. And so my neighborhood representative, each area's got their little district representatives. He knew that I worked hard for my area to bring things on my side, which is again the lower income side, to have parks, to have sidewalks, to have better things. Anyway, but he was the one that picked me at that time as the woman for city council. This recent one was because they were recognizing me because of the national award from National Kidney Foundation. And every time they always say, Maria, and as you can tell how I don't stop talking, would you like to say a few words? You, I was a shy person. I have an audience. They are going to listen to me. I'm again on my soapbox. Kidney disease, again, the main points: diabetes, high blood pressure, blah blah blah. Make sure you this, make sure you do that. And yeah,
I
don't
could
give me.
tell you love doing it, don't you?
I've had at the time, you never know. I I went, what? Wait a minute, no way. It was my high school counselor that was there, and it was his wife, which she was my English teacher. I go, I can't believe you guys, you came. Maria, we have always followed you and your brother. Because again, we went to the same high school, same teachers. Well, she's ended up with kidney disease and she reached out to me. And so again, just to talk. Uh you never know. Again, I am here. And sometimes I don't say anything. I mean, I do a lot of support over the phone. My home phone number is open. It's listed all kinds of ways. Um, where they feel alone. They have no one else to talk to. They have no one else that understands. The family is trying to force them to do things that they don't understand. Get up. You're being lazy. Oh, no, you're not lazy. You're sick. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the Celeste Award. I understand that on April 13th of this year in Austin, Texas, you won the Celeste Award. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Again, the awards, and sometimes say, "What's your title, Maria?" With the group, what's your names, titles, awards. I'm very proud of myself. Like I said, I'm very proud of myself because I chose to do this. And like I said, looking back, and I said, you know what? This is half my life I've been doing this. It doesn't seem that long. I enjoy it because I'm helping other people. And if Celeste was a person like me, or I am like Celeste, I'm happy for her and her family that we are passionate to be out there Because you know what? You look around these health fairs, no one's talking about diabetes. No one's talking about kidneys. Oh, yeah, you got the breast cancers or you got the whatevers. But in this county, we have the highest diabetes rate. And I was told that by the technician, again, the people that I knew at the dialysis. Because, Maria, the one thing I would like you to, because I asked him, what can I say? I go, you know more than I do. Talk about diabetes. This is a poor area. People have no insurance. Diabetes runs rampant, and that's how and why people end up on this machine. So,
Okay. Talk to us a little bit about what's upcoming, what's new on the horizon for your advocacy work.
yes, what's new on the horizon is I'm going to another tribal community, which is just in my backyard. I have never been there, even though it's just right, basically down the way. I have no mountains to climb or anything. And I, again, however, like I said, all this social media happens. People see me and find me by accident. And yes, so on the 20th, I'm going to join about two other people, and their topic is about they have a high risk of tobacco abuse and vaping. And they want to also make sure, because of the diabetes, healthy, what to do. Um, Again, it's not just it's kindergarten through high school, and it's going to be meeting in a gymnasium. And of course, they're inviting, the parents and the elders to be there to listen. So I'm very excited, very excited. It's just, again, grabbing the microphone. I said, okay. And I can easily, again, talk to the children without scaring them. Because again, my own children, I needed to explain it to. They didn't know what was going on. So those were my first, and I'm getting emotional.
Uh,
They were my first to tell them I'm okay. They had no other way but, like I said, hang on for the ride with mama. Mama kept going to the doctor. Mama kept this. Mama had bandages around her left arm. Yep. So I think I'm pretty good at talking to children without scaring them.
oh,
Keep
excellent.
keeping healthy.
Excellent. I- Is there any final statement that you would like to make tonight to our audience? Did I forget to discuss something that you think is important?
Basic water. You think you're healthy? Basic water. My own mother, her kidneys were shutting down. Why? I went, what? My mom's not diabetic. Nothing's wrong. Why? Your mother's dehydrated. Drink more water. That was the reason. I put all these bottles in front of her. Mama, this is all to be done today. Not all at once, but finish these one at a time. Her numbers came up. The importance of having water in our bodies for our brains, our hearts, our organs. We can't live without water. That's the healthiest thing we can do. Not none of these Red Bulls, not none of these caffeines, whatever's. Basic water. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you, Maria, for coming on tonight and talking to us,
My
raising
pleasure.
awareness about kidney disease and educating us about your various experiences and your opinions. And I mean, wow, what a terrific interview! What a great guest! Learned so much tonight listening to you.
I'm very privileged that I
Talk.
am guest of yours, my dear friend. I'm very privileged because I have seen some of your other guests, and yes, even if they're the recordings, because sometimes it's like, oh man, I've missed it, but I thank you for the recordings.
Oh, that's no problem at all. No problem at all. We have one coming up with a professor who's going to talk to us about IGA,
Yes.
and I'll be telling the audience, what's going on with our upcoming broadcasts real soon. So, at any rate, Maria, I'm going to talk to the audience a little bit about the next few broadcasts
Yes.
coming up, and I'm going to let you go.
Thank you.
But
Love you, everybody.
oh, thank you, my friend. Wonderful, wonderful stuff tonight. I appreciate you taking time.
Thank you very much for giving me the time. Thank you.
Oh, no, no worries. We'll have you back sometime soon.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. You take care. Have a good night.
God bless. Thank you.
God bless. All right, everybody. That's our friend Maria, who's talking to us tonight about her experiences with kidney disease and her advocacy experiences and her award experiences. Let's talk a little bit about upcoming broadcasts. Next week, I'm giving you guys the week off. I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. with the American Kidney Fund next week. We're meeting with members of Congress, and that's going to shoot the week for me pretty much. May 26th, Quentin Johnson's on the broadcast. We call him Q. Q is diabetic. He's currently on dialysis. He's looking for a kidney transplant. It should be a very interesting talk because he has some interesting points of view. He's a unique patient on diabetes, and the things that he does and how he gets along and works with his doctors will be discussed. I mentioned that we're doing a broadcast recording. This is by Dr. Jonathan Barrett, Barratt, on IGA. Before I discussed with Professor and Dr. Barrett, there is no specific medication, or there was no specific medication for IGA. That's a thing of the past. There's something currently that is a specific medication. We're going to talk about that a little bit, and it's gone through a couple of studies. It's done very well as far as raising your kidney function and reducing the issues that you have with IgA. So some groundbreaking stuff coming up on the 2nd of June. On the 9th of June, we're going to talk with Robert Chelsea. Robert is a first-time issue with us. Robert actually had a face transplant. We're going to talk to him about his experiences with that. Should be pretty cool. Looking forward to that conversation. On the 16th of June, my buddy John R. Brandon Braden is going to be on the broadcast. I call him John R. John R. has recently taken over a kidney advocacy group, a nationally recognized kidney advocacy group. He's been on television like the Today Show and a couple other morning shows. He's going to talk to us a little bit about his experiences with kidney disease and his advocacy and the new foundation and what's going on with that. On the 30th of June, Mark Scotch returns to the broadcast. If you'll remember, Mark is one of the guys that's riding his bike across the country to raise awareness for kidney disease. Recently, he took a trip from Michigan to New Orleans. We're going to talk to him as a follow-up about his experiences with that. It should be interesting. On the 7th of July, Chelsea Roman is on the broadcast, another kidney patient looking for a transplant. Tentatively, on the 14th of June, we're going to be talking to Terry Watnick about her 2023 Lily Jean Kaplan International Prize for Advancement in the Understanding of Polycystic Kidney Disease. This is an amazing thing that she's involved in. You don't want to miss that. On the 21st of July, my buddy Bruce Tippett is going to be on the broadcast. Bruce, as you know, is a sports writer, and he's working with children in sports and kidney disease. A new project should be very interesting. Our friend Cynthia Infante is on the broadcast on July 28th. Cynthia's a kidney patient, kidney advocate, lots of great experience, interesting interview. A guy that I'm looking forward to talking to, although the broadcast is tentative, on the 4th of August, the day after my birthday, David Perchinsky. He's currently on dialysis. He's working with Kidney Solutions to get a transplant. I think David's going to be an amazing advocate someday, so you don't want to miss that broadcast. 8/11th, Nira Dal, she's a PhD, is on the broadcast. I met her through the PKD Foundation. We're going to talk about some of her research work with polycystic kidney disease. Again, new and exciting stuff, groundbreaking sort of thing. Very, very nice woman, very smart. I'm going to have to put on my Poindexter to have the interview with her. On the 18th, we're talking to Helene and Gregory McNamee. Gregory is a kidney patient, dialysis patient, seeking a kidney transplant. You had to have seen Greg. He's all over the internet, so it should be an interesting conversation. On the 1st of September, we're talking with Jennifer Aranda and Stephanie Straffy. This is a new medication for kidney patients that we're going to discuss. Now get this. On the 8th of September, we're talking to ex-Met Ed Hearn. We're going to talk about his experiences with kidney disease. I think, if I remember right, it's 1, 2, 3. He's working on his 4th kidney transplant, and we'll be talking to him about his experiences. And then the last date that I have booked is the 13th of October. James Brown is on the broadcast. I met James at the National Kidney Foundation Summit this year. He's a kidney patient. He's a kidney advocate. He's a transplant patient, and just a real interesting guy, him and his wife. So you don't want to miss out on any of that. So lots and lots of good stuff going on, and watch this space, because I'm trying to get some more expert type folks for you, and we'll be working on that over the weekend. So I thank you for watching. You have a good weekend. The replay of the broadcast will be up relatively soon. So thank you for watching, my friends.